We're live.
Okay, we're live. Yes. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I am so excited, so honored to just have this live today with Jade Lee, my spiritual mother. She has many names. I call her Mama Lee. And I really wanted to have this time where we could talk about history makers, but people who are making history right now. We know that this is the last day of Black History Month. And so I just asked her to come on. Yes, which is huge. And so to commemorate Black History Month, I wanted to feature a hero in my life who is, I believe, making history right now. And so I just wanted to say a little bit about herself, and then I'll let her share a little bit of who she is. And so, like I said, her name is Jade Lee. She is a pastor of Convergence Church, a co-pastor there. She's an author of 4 different books. The most recent one is Silhouettes of Promise, Keeping Hope Alive in Infertile Times. So if you can think about, we're in a pandemic. Yes, I'm so glad she has it.
I just happen to have one right here.
I love it. You might feel like you're in a dry space, some infertile times. This is a book where she talks about how you can keep hope alive, and hold on and actually see that promise come to fruition. So she'll share, I'm sure, a little bit about that later on. But there's so many different accolades I could share: author, pastor, ministry leader, mom to 4 beautiful children from the ages, I believe, of 6 months to college age. She is a
21.
Some might say 21. And she's traveled the world with her husband. They do ministry together, which is very beautiful and unique. They've done ministry from downtown Atlanta to the AUC, where I met them as a college student, to Kenya, to orphanages. And so I'm just so honored to have her here just for a few minutes of her time to share a little bit of her journey and how we all can be history makers today. So I just wanted to give that quick intro. I know there's so much more I could say, but wanted to give you a chance to say hello before we get into our discussion.
Hey, Thrive Moms Group. Thanks for having us today. We're so excited. I'm just happy that the kids are, they might run into either one of our rooms, but we all
right.
And if you're watching on my page, hi, welcome. I'm just doing this interview with Paige Smith, who is the founder of Thrive Moms Group. She's like a super mom out here in the Georgia area, and she's always gathering. She's like a mom magnet. So she asked me to come on here today just to chat, just to talk. So it's not really super official. That's why I put it on my page, just so people could be encouraged that are other mommies out there. Yes. At different seasons of life. We all just, I think, can use encouragement and support from one another. So thank you. I'm honored to be a part of this. And I'm all about Black history all times of the year.
Yes. So and I neglected to say that she is the descendant of Harriet Tubman, an actual descendant, not like, that's my
I'm wearing
ancestor.
My Harriet hat right now.
Yes. And I'll have to post for the Thrive Mommy. She's been doing some amazing, she calls it Harriet's Corner, where she actually puts on traditional garb of what Harriet Tubman would wear and does this history lesson for our little ones. And my kids have been loving it. So yes, just a very dynamic woman. Yes, hello Thrive Tribe and others who are tuning in. For those who are not tuning in on the Thrive Mom community page, I just want to share a little bit about what Thrive Mom is all about. Just like the title of it suggests, it's all about us thriving together in motherhood. I'm sure if you are a mom watching, you have felt, what it feels like to feel like you're surviving in motherhood, or to feel like you're in this journey alone. I mean, a lot of us are quarantined. We have little ones. We might have college-age ones. And Thrive Mom community is all about, Jade Lee uses this term, re-villaging our community, coming together, being the village for one another, being a community, sharing resources, sharing recipes, and thriving together. The journey is not always easy, but together we truly are stronger and better. So yes, every time we go live, every time, there's a post, it's all about encouraging, uplifting us as moms. And so today has that same heart.
My daughter's breaking into the room right now. But yes, I love the vision of this group. I think it's awesome that you are doing this. And literally, I've seen that you are gathering women all over the world, which is really cool.
Yes, I mean, I'm honored and just excited about the journey myself. Like, even though I initiated, I feel like a thriving mom myself. I am learning from everyone there, and it's been amazing to see people from all over join in.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so we all know that February is Black History Month, and I mean, really, Black History Month. Yes, we honor it even more so in our country, in America, right? Because we have women from all over in February, but we know Black History every month we can celebrate it. But I did want to take a special time this last day of Black History Month and really think about how, as moms, we are making history as we are leaving a legacy with our own children, and so. Jade Lee here, she is a mom of 4, as I said. She is a bio and adoptive, as well as spiritual mother, if that's a term that you all might be familiar with. So basically, that mom in the community, that's what you might think of when you think of a spiritual mom, but someone who just kind of adopts people, and just that when you're around them, you just want to hang out a little bit longer because you already feel at home. She's that kind of woman. So I wanted to ask her just to share some of your story about being a mom and how you became a mom now of 4. And so just what that means to you, being a mom of 4, and that kind of legacy you're leaving for your children.
Right. Thank you again for having me. And like you said at the beginning, I can't tell a whole story. This book tells the story. But this is a book I wrote. It's called Silhouettes of Promise, Keeping Hope Through Infertile Times. And don't be deceived by the title. It's more than just if you're going through like natural infertility. I wrote this book to inspire everyone, men, women, anyone that is going through a season of infertility in any area of your life.
Wow.
And so it just guides you through my journey of trying to get pregnant after 12 years of believing God to have children. The Lord finally gave me a precious little girl. Her name is Sarah Elizabeth. She was born in November of 2017. And then I have Samuel Emmanuel came next, and he is adopted, and he's very proud about it. Every time that you mention adoption, he's like, "I'm adopted." So he
like,
loves
I was
being
chosen,
adopted.
I'm adopted.
And he says, "I'm chosen." So and even Sarah says, "I'm adopted," and I have to say, "Well, God adopted you." And then our third child, we met first, and she is now 21. We met her when she was like 14 or 15 years old as a teenager in the foster care system. And pretty much, long story short, we adopted her right after we adopted Samuel, that same fall of 2018. And then I had a surprise baby. It was my last one, who is now 6 months old. And we adopted him. I mean, I had him biologically. Look, I get mixed up with the story because I got 4 children in like 3 years. But yeah, Corey, his full name is Corey Lamont Lee II. He is our baby boy that pretty much I had a miracle baby after having surgery to remove my ovary. I'm very public about all this, so hopefully it's not TMI for y'all. But
no, thank you for sharing vulnerably.
I had him after having surgery, and that surgery, I believe, healed my body because that ovary was constantly giving me problems for years. So those are my 3 little ones and 1 big one that is at Albany State University.
Wow. And her children, I might have to, I don't know, show a family photo at some point, but she has such a beautiful family. It's just amazing to see how God wrote this amazing story. And I don't know if you shared, but you mentioned Miracle Child. Some of you might not know that she shares her journey of battling infertility for 12 years. So this journey of having 4 children now, it's even more inspiring, I believe, when you know that it came after a journey of battling infertility for 12 years.
Right. It was a long, hard 12 years. You know, it's like when you're in a storm or it's really dark outside and you're like, I found a picture of my family. Here is here's me pregnant. And so
Beautiful.
there's my oldest, that's Alexis Dixon, and then there's Samuel
So
Emmanuel
beautiful.
that she's holding him, and then there's my husband Corey, Sarah Elizabeth. Corey is holding, and then baby Corey is in my womb. I'll have to find another one with baby Corey because he didn't make the cut all the way. He's in the picture, but
You were pregnant with him.
you can't see his cute little face there.
But just trust that he's like the most adorable baby you've ever seen as well.
Yeah, he is so precious and a happy little baby. Really
yes.
talented.
Such a joyful baby. Well, I love your journey, your testimony. Thank you so much for sharing it. And as we're talking about, I guess, history and as moms being history makers, I guess I wanted to ask you, as you are a lover and student of history, do you see your motherhood journey through a lens of like making history now, or even as you know that you're a descendant of Harriet Tubman, as you're raising your children, you know, is that in your mind at all? Like, wow, you know, I'm carrying this legacy with my natural, spiritual, adoptive children. I'm continuing that history that I'm a part of.
Well, I tend to think very differently than most people. Like I remember the first time someone said, "Oh, your dream came true." I was like, "My dream? I didn't have a dream." Like to have children, I just never saw it as a dream. It was more like just something. I'm a very spiritual person. You'll hear me say spiritual things all the time. So for me, it was like, oh, this is just a prayer request. This is something that I'm asking God to do to heal my body, and because I feel like it should happen. And it's a desire of my heart. I never saw it as a dream. In the same way, I would say, as far as like history, I don't know. Sometimes I really don't feel like a history maker in this realm, you know. I felt more like a history maker when I was like leading movements across the nation, and we did movements where we went to like 70 something college campuses and things like that. So it's real easy for us as moms to feel more like I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do day by day, you know, in my little home
just
with my 4 kids. So I don't tend to think of that historically, but I will say that a lot of times I'll look at my kids and I'll think of Harriet Tubman. Like when I see the resilience in them, or like, for example, my daughter, especially my bio kid, she hates being stuck in any way, shape, or form. Like she always wants freedom. So if you put her like in a chair and she's even just like a simple high chair where you buckle her in, she's going to fight her way out. Or you put her anywhere, it's like she wants freedom, she wants freedom, she wants. And already at 3, I think possibly at 2, she says things like, I can do it myself, I can do this by myself. It's a strong level of independence, like a natural there leader, like, so
listen, I can do it.
So that makes me think. I always laugh and joke and say, look at you, little Harriet, you're always trying to break free and then get everybody else out. All her other little friends, come on guys, come on, even if they're not like doing the right thing. Or she also will sit down with like other kids in timeout a lot of times. So if you put her, oh, go sit in timeout, so one of the other kids, Sarah will go find them and do a sit-in. Like she is a movement leader. Already. Like she'll literally do a sit-in. I'm like, how do you know how to do a sit-in? And then she'll look at you and she'll say, she says stuff like, no, it's me and him. It's me and him, mommy. Not you. It's me and him. I'm in solidarity with this person. So it's just funny to see, like, you could tell already in your kids what direction they're going in, and that you can't control it. You can only mold it and shape it, you know, and bring her up in the way that God's created her to be, because you can't change that out of someone. So, yeah. So I don't always think of it as like, oh, I'm making history, but I probably should think of it more that way. I am very intentional about the way I raise them and the things I put into them, though. because I know that they're going to be great people one day and already are.
Wow. Yes. Wow. I love that. I love that little picture of little Sarah, just, with that heart just of like, of an activist and already such a strong sense of justice. And
Yeah.
I think that helps us as some moms if we have some strong-willed personalities in our families
Yeah.
to see, you know what, I think there's a leader in you. I think that, this strong will that you
Right.
have, I love that your perspective as a mom wasn't like, oh, there's something wrong with her. It's like, I see leadership, I see activism, I see, a heart for justice, compassion,
Right.
so many things. And that you were speaking, little Harriet, you're
I mean,
you
you
want to
have to
set the
find
people
humor
free.
in it, you know. I have to. You have to find humor, I think, in life, period.
Yes.
But especially when you're parenting and they're not going to do what you tell them to do all the time, you know,
Right.
and they're going to, even more so when they become an adult, they're going to do whatever they're going to do. Like they're going to make their own decisions and become their own people. So
Right.
I see it more as like I'm a guide, and I am giving them like principles that they can use for life. That's what I'm here to
Right.
do. So I'm not here to like control them. That's not what I see, you know, as my calling. So that's what I do. I just try to guide and shape and ask God all the time because like I said, I tend to be a very spiritual person, and so I pray a lot and I say, okay, God, what do you want this person to be? What do you want this little person to grow up to be?
Right.
And how can I just come alongside your plan, whatever
Wow.
that is, and partner with you to help shape them and help make sure they get everything they need to get. Like I said, I'm trying to think of another example. I'm kind of on Sarah right now, but even with Sammy, he's like, I want to break dance. I want to be a break dancer. And when I tell some people that, here's baby Corey, but when
Just
I
the
tell
cutest. Oh my goodness.
some people about you know, that he wants to break dance, so they look like almost like, what? Like you're gonna let him break dance? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna let him break dance. If he wants
Right.
to pop lock and turn on the floor and all that, like let's go. We're going to hip hop class and you're gonna learn how to do this and
Yes.
you're gonna be the best at it, hopefully.
Yes.
So yeah, I look for, and he's very, very intelligent. Like he memorizes things. He knew his alphabet like by the time he was like 2, and
Yes. Sammy is
he
so advanced.
he's very, very advanced, and he remembers everything. So anyway, yeah, I just try to look at what the gifts I already see in them and bring it out. So
I
hopefully that will
love
help
that.
them make history. I probably won't ever see myself as the history maker in their life. I'll just be like cheering, saying, "You guys are history makers!" Wow.
I love that. I think that so many moms can probably relate and just are encouraged by that. Even as it was kind of an abstract question, like, how do you see yourself as a history maker as a mom? I was just trying to get us started with the
Yeah.
discussion, but as you
No,
were
it's a great
sharing, I
question.
was
It makes
thinking,
me think more. I'll think of more about it as well and say,
yes, I'm
okay,
thinking as well. And
you
what you
know, I
shared,
think
I
I'm
think was
making
so
history
good.
in their personal lives. Like,
Yes.
I think they'll look back and say, wow, mom made history. And whether for good or bad, every day I pray that it will be more for good than for bad. But I know that I'm imperfect
Yes.
and some bad is going to be in there somewhere. But hopefully they will look back and say, mom really made a difference in my life, you know, for
I
good.
love that. As you were sharing, I was thinking that as moms, even if we don't see ourselves as history makers every day, that's a pretty
Right.
grandiose thing to think as you're folding laundry and running after your little ones. But as you were sharing, and you were just sharing about the things you're already seeing in your children, the gifts you're already seeing, and how there's greatness in them, and
Hmm.
you're intentionally shaping them to, I guess, to be great citizens and great people, and
Right.
to do what God has called them to do, and that you believe that they are and will shape history and will be
Yeah.
history makers, world changers. And so I think about that, even that quote, it's like the hand that rocks the cradle holds the world.
Rules
I
the
think it's
world.
something like that. Yes, rules the world. And as
Right.
moms, that's kind of our role. Like we get to shape, help, again, not control. I love that you said not control, but shape and guide the next generation. So
Right.
really, we have such an amazing influence and impact in how the world is going to be shaped, into how the future
We
is going to
do.
unfold, which is a very powerful place, you know. So I hope
Mm-hmm.
that we're all just feeling inspired by that. And she was sharing that as moms, even if we don't always see it, and maybe other people don't recognize it as much as they should, that we do hold such an influential place in shaping
Mm-hmm.
these future world changers and
Right.
history makers. So I
Yeah, I
love
see
that.
them as the history makers. I feel like
Right.
it's weird. Maybe because I had children older. Like I had them when I had my first child when I was 37, I think.
Okay.
36. But yeah, I'm losing track. I'm almost 40. So but I had my first one in my late 30s. And so for me, I feel like I'm already like, and my husband jokes and says, "You're an old soul." You're like, the other day he said, "Yeah, women always want to talk to you because you're like 74 already." And so I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? Like,
Hubbies be like,
I'm like, can you? And then he tried to clean it up. I'm like, it's too late now, babe. It's out. But yeah, I already see myself. I tend to see, maybe because I'm communal and from a communal background, I think that when you're brought up in the African diaspora, we tend to see ourselves as a part of a bigger picture and less
yes.
than as an individualistic mentality and worldview. And so I think very generationally about my kids. I think about how my actions are, I think too deep, but I think about how my actions are going to influence like 5 generations down the line. It's a
Wow.
lot of pressure, but I always think that way. The other thing is
Wow.
I am a contextualizer. And so that's why I love history, because when I can put things in context, it helps me to understand them. So, like, if I see somebody out on the street on drugs or something, the first thought is not, "Oh, wow, you're on drugs, you're a bad person." I tend to think, what happened? How did you get here?
Wow.
And then not only how did you get here, how did your parent that was addicted get there, and how did they get there? Then that helps me have compassion. But I tend to contextualize. So I'm thinking about myself creating context for future history makers. What is the
Wow.
context they need to become an amazing influencer or an
Yes.
amazing, like my son Samuel already is saying, "I want to be a pastor when I grow up." So I already know that if that's what is in his heart already at this age, I need to begin to shape it. So we've already started him doing speaking. He stands on the fireplace mantle, like the bottom of the fireplace, and does
Yes.
speeches already. And I coach him. Or my daughter, she has an interest in dance, so she goes to ballet class already.
So
So those are the
good.
kind of things that I try to do to make them the history makers. And by default, I
Yes.
see myself as a default, even if I'm parenting maybe on a non-natural level, other people that come into my life. I'm The older I get, the more I see myself as a background person that's there to help other people get to
Wow.
where they're supposed to be in life. Less like I'm undergirding and helping them and
Right.
encouraging them and supporting them in whatever they're supposed to do. So I feel like
Wow.
that's my like life calling, is to help carry a lot of people towards wherever they're supposed to go, even if it's for a year, 5 years, 6 years, for my kids, maybe 17 years, that I will be that person for them. And then I kind of fade out. And eventually I will
Wow.
fade completely out, when it's time for me to go and to go to my next assignment, which is in heaven. So outside of
Yes.
that, that's my assignment, is to just contextualize and help people see their calling and their purpose, even with my kids. So my kids are just an extension of that. But that's what
Wow.
I think when I think of history, is they're an extension of my bigger assignment. Of course, they come first after my husband. One last thing I will say about it is that my name means to cause one to prosper through surrender. When you combine Jade Lee, and so I know that I'm supposed to, through me surrendering, and even in a lot of ways putting myself second, I'm supposed to help other people prosper. And so God will
Wow.
put assignments. Like there's someone right now that I am like their right hand person behind the scenes and no one even knows about it. But I feel like this is my time period. It's been confirmed over and over to, for a season, help this person just prosper and go to the next level. So
Wow.
that's what I want to do for my kids. Just help them prosper, go to the next level, and then get out the way when it's time for me to get out the way. Because we struggle
Wow.
with that. And I have a lot of practice from
Wow.
just being a leader in ministry with
Mm-hmm.
failing at letting people go when it's time for them to go. So I'm like, thank God. I feel so bad. I've done that to adults, because I was growing in that area. But with my kids, hopefully by the time they're 17 or 18, I won't be the nagging mom or mother-in-law that's like trying to hold on to them. That God will help me to just release them and
Mm-hmm.
walk into their next season, because that means I've done my job. So
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
I can
hopefully
tell the
they will
little
be the
ones are coming
history
in.
makers.
I love that. Thank you. Wow. Just so many just gems were just shared as you were sharing about how you think about being a history maker, that it's less about me trying to conquer and make history, but it's taking a back seat and pouring into your kids and helping them, supporting them in every way you can to prosper into the history makers they're called to be. And I just
Yeah,
think
I
about that
think
as
that's
moms.
true. I
Yes,
think
as
if we
moms,
think
we
that
are
way, then we will
called to
end
do
up
that.
being we that mentality of I'm here to take charge and take over has brought a lot of harm across the world. It's called
Right.
colonization, right? So I'm here. I say I'm here to
Good.
help you, but I'm really here to take over. Has
Right.
brought a lot of challenges, and eventually the person wakes up and they realize, oh my goodness, you just took over my whole life. You didn't really help
Wow.
me fulfill my calling. You just tried to make me you, make me more
Mm.
like you, more white, more Portuguese, more Italian, more
Wow.
British, more whatever it is. And I lost everything thinking you were here to help me. So, I don't do that perfectly, obviously, because some of that I think has filtered into us just
Right.
from being a world power and being in a nation where a lot of that has occurred. But I'm trying my best to die to myself, that I will not just try to make them me and let them
Mm.
fully be whoever they're supposed to be, even if I don't
Wow.
like it. Like, let's be real, you don't always like it. You don't always like that they're so strong, or they're so like,
Right.
sometimes it's scary how smart they are at 3 years old. Like, you're so intelligent
Yes.
already. Even my 6 month old, that he's so intelligent already that he's
Yes.
outsmarting me. And one day I said to him, "You'll never be smarter than mommy. You will never be
Like,
smarter." And
listen,
then
we're
I
gonna have
saw,
to
and
break
my
it
husband
down.
laughed and he's like, "He's already smarter than you." So yeah, just realizing my role. I guess it's a very selfless role. It's not about me, and I can't be the savior. For the only thought I can't be the white savior. I can't be the black savior. I can't be here just to save you. I
Mm.
am called to love you and let God save you. So I'm just called to be there and shape you and give you truth and let you
Right.
then run with it in your own form. So yeah, it's a lot of finding that
Wow.
balance of putting in, letting go, putting in, letting go. That's what it's
Yes.
been for me, at least. And it's a daily thing.
Wow. Well, thank you for
Outside
sharing.
of
As you
like
were.
changing a million diapers, giving them milk,
Yeah.
sippy cups, and making sure your house isn't completely wrecked.
Right.
Um, Repainting walls because they've drawn huge artwork, like you think
On
that
your
you're
wall.
in
Right.
England in some museum because they put art all over your walls, what they think is art. So outside of those everyday things, that's what my mind thinks of.
Wow.
I hope that wasn't too deep or too much. But
No,
yeah,
that's
that's my
so
like,
good. This is
it's the balance
conversation. I
of
mean, I just feel like you've
let me
expanded and
change this
evolved it.
diaper and make sure you don't have a diaper rash. And let me make sure that you actually become someone that is productive and helpful in society, respectful, that you have been shaped to be who you were created to be, fearfully and wonderfully made. And if I haven't done that, both of those dynamics, then I feel like I would have failed. So it is a large responsibility, but it's an all consuming job, right, moms? Like it doesn't
Yes.
end. It's a 24/7 job. So you have to find that time to go away and think about the job. It's the same thing that I learned in ministry. You can spend so much time on your ministry that in your ministry that you don't spend time working on it. Same thing with a business. You could get so consumed
Wow.
being working in your business that you never work on your business or your career, working in it and not working on it. So I need to work
Wow.
in it as a mother, but I also need to work on motherhood. My vision for motherhood and what I want to be as a mother, and then what I'm supposed to give out to them, and learning that I can't be so caught up in I don't know, I just lost my train of thought, but that's important. Just stopping, going to Ross, going to TJ Maxx, going to Nordstrom, wherever it is that you can clear your mind to refresh and to think about how things are going, and to just give yourself some mom time, because if not, it is an all-consuming job, a good
Right.
one, but it still consumes you.
Wow, so good. As you were sharing, I just thought about really, again, circling back to the purpose of Thrive. Like some of you guys might be hearing and saying, okay, so our kids are the history makers. I'm taking a back seat. But, catch what you just said, that if we're just in the grind of motherhood, we never step back to refresh ourselves,
Right.
then it's going to be hard to even try to even pour out in the way we want to help our children thrive and prosper,
Right.
into the history makers they're called to be. So I always say, kind of tagline, that when moms are thriving, families are thriving. When families are thriving, communities are thriving. And so it does matter as moms that we thrive. And even if you're tuning in right now, like, I'm just so grateful you're here, that you are getting filled up right now, that you're taking that time to pour into yourself as a mom. And I hope you get to, enjoy your Sunday, have a moment where you go to Ross or you take a walk or something. Because as you were hearing tonight, the role we play as moms, it is a high calling to lay down your life, to pour out yourself again and again to these children, to these families, to these worthy ones. But it's not easy. They're worthy of us pouring it out, but they're not always the most grateful. They're not always able to pour back to us, right?
No, not at this stage.
Little independent humans. It's not necessarily like with our marriages where it's an even exchange. That's a term that Jade and her husband coined, of marriage, that it's an even exchange. But with motherhood, it's not necessarily an even exchange until maybe when your kids maybe get older and are taking care of you. But when they're little, it's really a pouring out, and you're doing it in a very loving, sacrificial way. So I just love that. And you were talking about that as mom, we create the context for our kids to thrive. And so I just think that's so beautiful as we think about our own motherhood journey, just thinking, what is the context needed for me to create in my home, in my family, for my children to thrive? Maybe it's a dance class, maybe it's, family worship, or maybe it's family meals together, or, whatever it is, or we go on a walk. But I think that's something we all can, in this week, think about, what is the context needed for me to create, obviously with, your spouse, for our children to thrive. And then lastly, when you were talking about, as moms, sometimes it's not, again, it's not always about us. It's about doing what's needed to help our children thrive. I thought about Harriet Tubman. I thought about how her life, she was a history maker. She's someone who honors, someone who clearly made history. But I believe at the time, she wasn't necessarily thinking, I just want to make history. I really believe that she was thinking, I want to help.
I agree.
To get out of slavery. So my heart is for them right now. My heart is to see them in freedom and to prosper, to thrive. And through that heart, she herself became a history maker. And so I
But
think
she
it's awesome
wasn't.
sometimes
Yeah,
we
I
have a
don't
season
think.
where we're pouring out, and we'll come maybe, decades from now, we'll look and be like, oh my gosh, the woman I turned into is
Right.
such an amazing woman. Maybe won't call it a history maker, but I've become this amazing woman through pouring out to these children in my family.
Hmm.
So I hope that encourages everyone.
Yeah, I hope so too. I don't think that Harriet, since we're on Black History Month, the last day, which is crazy, but I don't think that. I do think that. I think there's a balance. I do think that Harriet was very aware that she was making such a huge difference. There's no
Mm,
way she wasn't, especially because Frederick Douglass had written her letters and she had met Abraham Lincoln, and he had already known about her before she knew about him or anyone knew about him. She was a legend. Let's be real. She was a
yes.
living legend, and the whole world knew, well, at least in America, the New World knew who she was. So even if they didn't know what she looked like, especially at the early days when she was more hidden, people did know who she was. And then eventually, she was the first woman to ever partner with the military to be a Union Army spy in history. And I think the only woman at that time period. And so she had to have known that she was making a difference after
Right.
saving 300 plus slaves. Even William Lloyd Garrison and others had brought her in on staff with them, and they're like, whoa, this woman is crazy, doing crazy things here. So she knew, but I think because of her heart being in the place of, I want to undergird, I want to save people, that's what she was about. The letter that Frederick Douglass wrote to her was almost like an apology, just saying, look, everyone knows about me. I'm the one that has I'm the CNN guy, but you're the behind the scenes hero.
Wow.
And so she knew, but I still don't know. She didn't see it the way maybe some of us would think of a history maker. It was more, it seemed to me more like, yeah, I'm doing what I got to do. I'm just doing what I have to do every day. I'm living in my assignment and my purpose. But there's a true, not false humility, but a real humility there
Mm,
about what she was doing. Because I think when it's that big and something, and you really, really get into the essence of your purpose to bring other people out of slavery into freedom, it's a
right.
little too big and too substantial of a purpose and too dangerous for it to be about fluff. Like, this is not about being a social media influencer. This
Right.
person is a person of great substance, like an Angela Davis of our day or something like that. They're
Mm,
not there to play games. They will go to jail. They'll do whatever it takes to see that movement keep going forward and going beyond their lifetime. So I think if we see our kids that way, yeah, we will become history makers, maybe in bulks, by default, because we raised up like these amazing people that aren't just being randomly raised. They're raised with a purpose and an assignment. So, I'm that incense person, but now it's just shifted over to motherhood, with these little people that you think they're going to be somebody someday, and I tell my
yeah.
kids every day that I can. I do affirmations. I look at them since they're babies. I look at them and I say, you are strong, you are a leader, you are powerful, you are impactful, you are more than a conqueror, you will
Yes.
lead your nation, or whatever comes to my heart. And just to see their faces light up, they believe that, with everything in them. It's so easy for them to believe when they're younger. So why
Wow.
not use that time to create something beautiful inside of them that will come out later? So yeah, I think that
Yes.
they're going to be some amazing people, and hopefully going in the right direction. Either way, they're going to be great because we're saying it and we're declaring it every day and we're
Yes.
claiming it. I just want them to do it for the right reasons and for their heart to be in the right space. One other thing I'll say is I'm careful who I surround them with, and that they have fun,
Mm,
like that they enjoy their childhood, that they're not being deeply wounded is my goal, and that they
right.
have fun, and that they're surrounded by people that are where I want them to be one day so that they could see it, because whatever they see, they're going to
Mm,
get. full of, and that's what they'll just default to and become one day.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a
So
great
powerful.
great responsibility. And I always think, wow, this is why God gave me 12 years. I feel sorry for all the other mommies that y'all didn't have the 12 years. I'm just joking. But yeah, he gave me 12 years to prepare for this because it's hard, isn't it? It's not an easy job. And I've had different jobs, but this has got to be up there in some of the hardest
job
ones.
I've ever had. Yeah. The most
But so worth it because
but
they'll
yes,
stop
the most
every once in a
difficult.
while and say, "Mommy, you're the best mommy ever." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness.
It
Like,
makes
I
it
don't
all
even
worth
feel
it.
like I'm doing good today. Thank you."
Yes. Oh, they make it worth it. Those sweet moments. Wow. Well,
They're
I
so
don't want to take
sweet.
up too much of you all's time. This has been such a power-packed time. I don't know if you had any last, words, but I kind of wanted to just reflect on what we all shared because it was so much. We shared about as moms how we can be history, how we are history makers, but in a way we might not expect. In pouring into our children and helping them thrive and be the history makers they're called to be, the world changers they're called to be, we in fact are making history and doing that and influencing the next generation. We are shaping the history of our world, and so it's a powerful, it's a place of privilege in a good way, I guess. It's a blessing, it's an honor, the place we have as moms, and just to know that in the midst of the laundry, in the midst of the tantrums and all the different things, that we really are making a difference right where we are in our homes, in our families. And even just to draw inspiration from, we talked about Harriet Tubman today and how she had that just perfect balance of having a heart to serve others and to see them come into freedom, but also she knew who she was. She knew her assignment. She knew the magnitude of what she was doing. And so even as moms, if you were listening to this live and just thinking, I've never thought of myself as, someone creating legacy or making history, or even never really even thought of my kids as world changers, to really to allow this live and, to renew your mind about the magnitude of influence and just power that you have as a mom and that your children have, that they are great, and they are, every child is fearfully and wonderfully made. And you as a mom, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. And so that is a special thing. So I hope that as we are coming, this is the end. This is not the end of Black History. This is the last day.
Right. Because, if you go to my page, I do Black History all year.
Yes. And I'm going to have to link her videos. I mean, all year round.
And I'll have two more.
Anti-racist library.
I owe February 2 more videos. So I'm going to do 2 more reenactments of Harriet Tubman. Probably they won't come out till March, but I'm going to do 2 more. And maybe one day I'll do even more. But my last words, just to keep us all encouraged, would be start with the end in mind. That's what I do. I like to visualize. I do a lot of visualization. I wish I could show you, but my daughter just took some of my vision board and threw a bunch of the little cutouts over the stairwell as we were talking. So I will be picking those up once we get off of here. But yeah. I haven't glued them all onto the board, but I try to do visualization. I talked about this during my Waiting Woman's Fast this year, but I even have a family seal that I'm creating. I have a vision and a mission for my family and the direction we're going in, so that and it will all be written up and sent even in my will to the next generation, so that they know what our calling is generationally. So I do take it seriously, even if I kind of laugh and joke about it. I do have a plan. And I start with the end in mind. I try to visualize through what they show me who they're going to be. And I would say to you, if you knew that your son or daughter was going to be the president of America, how would you shape them? If you knew that they were going to be a senator, or that they were going to be a movement leader like Martin Luther King, or they were going to be a freedom fighter like Harriet Tubman, or they were going to be a great female liberator like Sojourner Truth. If you knew that, how would you shape them? What would you begin to put in them now? So visualize. God will show you if you ask him to show you who are these little people in your house, because really you don't know, only he knows. So you start with that envision, and then you begin to put everything in them they need to move towards that. Soon, I'm always looking, as soon as I see a glimpse of something in them, I am nurturing it. I'm pouring water on it. I am putting sunlight on it. I am like determined to make it blossom because I want to be intentional, because these are the little people that I am discipling, not just raising. I am discipling them. I am
Yes.
preparing them for something. The schools they go to, the education they have, how they dress, how they talk, how they walk, all of that is my job to prepare them for. So by the time that all of a sudden the Prince of England, wants to marry my daughter, she's already ready. She's walking the walk, and she's not put her head down,
Yes.
and she's confident, and she knows what she needs to do to walk into that function. So that's what I do, is I start with the end in mind, and even if I'm wrong, it will all work out for the good at the end of the day. But I'm
Yes.
going to start with the end in mind, and then my last little piece to balance that is take the pressure off and have fun. Like, some moms love playing. I am one of those moms that just does not, I've never liked playing. Even when I was a little girl, I was a little girl sitting there on the toilet reading Little Woman and 1,000-page novels. So, and thinking
Wow.
deeply, for hours, until my parents are like, Jade, come out the bathroom. But I was just so engrossed with the pages. I'm like, this is so good. It's like so alive to me. Like I'm reading a book,
Wow.
looking at a state of the art 4D movie right now. That's how real reading was for me. So I enjoyed that more
Wow.
than playing with blocks or the dirt or whatever we did. But as a parent, you have to balance that. Make them go play, run, make yourself play, get on the floor with them, enter into their world and what they're into. So I have to schedule time to do that every day with my kids as often as I can, so that they have those memories that I wasn't just about what Jade likes. I was about what they love and what they enjoy. Because as crazy as it sounds, it's those moments, those positive moments, that are going to create the foundation for them to be a president, for them to be a world leader, for them
Wow.
to be a community leader, for them to be a teacher or a doctor or a lawyer or whatever it is, for them to be a great mom and a great dad. They need to see it. So balance it with that and
Wow.
have fun and enjoy it, and figure out what way you parent best. Because I'm different than Paige. Like, we're two different people, and
Right.
our skill set, our makeup, our gifting, our personality is so different. So you have to get confident, and I have to get confident in who I am, and then figure out how that
Mm.
fits with my kids' personalities. So yeah, but thank you for having me on today. My husband keeps calling because he's trying to get me on another interview right now. And I'm gonna beg you afterwards to get you on an interview too. But yeah, so I have to get to that. But I have enjoyed this time. It's given me my little mom
Yes.
moment today.
I have loved this time. I mean, this just gave me so much energy. I literally was feeling a little tired, and we got on talking, and I just like you just filled up my cup as a mama. And I hope that
Awesome.
those watching, you feel like your cup has been filled up. You feel inspired. I mean, you guys see why I asked her to come on. You see why I wanted to feature as the Shiro of the month, as someone as a mom making history right now. So many gems
Yeah,
were
and
shared. Thank
I'm
you so
sure you,
much.
you all are doing an amazing job being mommies out there. We all just have to give our best day by day, and then do a lot of forgiving ourselves and loving on ourselves, because we're not going to be perfect. But our kids will remember, kids want you to be the hero. So they're so forgiving and forgetful of things sometimes, and they'll give you second and third and fourth
Yes.
chances. So just grace upon us.
Yes, so good. Well, yes, I actually just wanted to end this live with a quick prayer. I don't always do that with Thrive Moms, but we were talking about how as moms we draw our strength spiritually many times, and
Right.
so just wanted to ask you to just end with a quick prayer,
Sure.
and then I was going to just let us all just enjoy the rest of our Sunday.
Yes. Well, Father, Creator God, we thank you for this time together today as mothers. I pray that every person that is watching this, either now live or later on, they will feel empowered, that they will feel a source of energy coming from heaven, and that they will be
Yes.
encouraged in their walk as a mother. I pray that they will know who they are without a shadow of a doubt, that the vision will be very clear, not only for themselves as an individual, but for their kids. And I pray that their kids will become amazing people from the inside out, beautiful from the inside out, not just busy trying to be successful, but busy trying to change the world and love other people's lives and see that the person right in front of them is enough. Just changing their life and loving that person in front of them is enough. Let them be filled with love so that they can give back that love to everyone else that they come in contact with. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you again so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Yes, have a
Thank
great
you, everyone.
Sunday.